We all go a little mad sometimes. Okay, so we are back, and tonight is sort of an impromptu, was not on the schedule, and not something that is in the book. Excuse me. I just wanted to say real quick that these videos are completely unedited and completely unfiltered. So whatever you hear, whatever comes out of my mouth is what comes out of my mouth. And adult things will be said. So if your kids are in the room, you probably want to have them leave or put your headphones on. And I will talk about spoilers, especially for the movie that I am reviewing. And tonight is especially... like tons of spoilers. I would say if you have not seen this movie, Secret Window, do not watch this review because it will just ruin the whole fucking movie for you. I am from the beginning. I'm going to talk about things that happen that in the story you are not supposed to know. So please, if you have not seen it, I recommend you do watch it. And I recommend you do not watch this review. The other thing is... finally, I wanted to do a review because I finally got a replacement for that horrible poster that was up here. And as you can see, the two little notch things that are there. I got this on an impulse buy when my sister was here before Halloween. And unfortunately, I had to get it custom framed. It was something that just had to be custom framed, and I was waiting for it to finally be finished, and it is finished, and I am revealing it on video right here. Oh my God. Okay, the frame is fucking awesome, and it is perfect for it. This is a signed copy by Tim Curry of Darkness from Legend, and as you already know how much I love Legend and have already reviewed it. So this is going on the wall as we speak, right here where that poster was. Now it lives on the wall right there, and you will be able to see it in every video I do. I love it. I love it. I love it. You can't see it as well as I can, but you can see it. Okay, moving on. I wore my Stephen King Rules shirt tonight because we are reviewing a Stephen King story / movie / blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is something that it qualifies for something in the book, but unfortunately I already used what it qualified for. I already did the challenge, but I figured why not sort of follow some of the questions that are in the book, because it helps me, start talking about things. So challenge number 35, which I've already done, but this is a duplicate, a book adaptation. This is adapted. The movie tonight is Secret Window. The story is called Secret Window, Secret Garden, and I can't remember which one it's in. It's either in 4 Past Midnight or Different Seasons, and I don't think it's Different Seasons because I think I remember every single one that's in Different Seasons. So I think this is 4 Past Midnight, along with I think The Library Policeman and the Sundog. I believe those are in Different Seasons. Yes, 4 Past Midnight, not Different Seasons. Different Seasons is The Body, which is Stand By Me, Shawshank Redemption, Apt Pupil, and The Breathing Method. And 4 Past Midnight is The Sundog, Library Policeman, Secret Window, Secret Garden, and for the life of me, I can't remember the fourth one. Oh, I'm a bad Stephen King fan. I can't remember the fourth one in that book. Not that I didn't like it, just that, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. Okay, here we go. Here's the book. I mean, I've got them all on my shelf, so why not? 4 Past Midnight is... oh, the Langoliers. Oh, of course. The Langoliers, Secret Window, Secret Garden, Library Policeman, and the Sundog. Oh, of course the Langoliers. Okay. For whatever reason, it didn't pop in my brain when I was thinking about it. Okay, year release, the movie, not the book, 2004. Running time, 1 hour 36 minutes. Date completed today, 11/19/23. Hopefully I can get you the video tonight, but it's like 10:40, so maybe not. Rating, I had it as a 3.5, but the more I thought about it, the more I watched it, I was like, you know what, this has got to be a 4 for me. It is absolutely not a 5. There are problems with it, but I love this movie. It's so great. It's so fun. It's a guilty pleasure for me, absolutely, and we'll talk about why later. So I changed my rating to a 4. Genre is drama, mystery, thriller. I'm surprised that they don't put horror in there at all, because most of Stephen King stuff tend to lie in horror, whether it is or isn't. So I was a little surprised by that. Rating PG-13. So this is not rated R. I can recommend it to more people without being like, well, it has this in it, it has gore in it, it has sex in it. No, it doesn't have any of that in it. It doesn't have any of that. Okay, starring a lot of people, but I love Johnny Depp is great in this. I am not a diehard Johnny Depp fan. I do like a lot of stuff that he has done, and this included. I think he's a great actor, and this one just shows off his talent. Maria Bello, which I've seen in other things, I like her a lot in this. Charles S. Dutton, which I've already said in my review of Alien 3, love Charles S. Dutton. He is such an underrated, fantastic actor, and I like this character in this film, Ken. He does a really, really good job. And John Turturro, which I love him because he's always such an odd character and does such a great job with the odd characters. So John Turturro in this film is wonderful. And then Timothy Hutton. I have more to say about that later on. I'm trying to move along because I have a bunch of notes. So directed by David Koepp. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I think I heard somebody in an interview say that it's Koepp. Koepp. I've seen him do other things. I do like him. So I think that's right. David Koepp. Producer Gavin Polone. Written by Stephen King. I mean, the original story is Stephen King. But David Koepp did the screenplay, and he does a fantastic job. I love this screenplay. I love this screenplay. I would be sad to find out if a lot of the stuff that I love was ad-libbed. I don't know. But I would be sad to find out that, because there's a lot of brilliant stuff in this screenplay. Music by Philip Glass, which I've heard other stuff that he's done, and Jeff Zanelli. I don't know how much Jeff Zanelli had influence on this, but the music is great. So credit to both of them, Philip Glass and Jeff Zanelli. The music fits this perfectly, and I love to listen to it. Awards, it didn't receive any. It got a couple of nominations, but didn't receive any. Why did I choose this? Because it's a guilty pleasure. Like I said, I fucking love this movie, and every time I watch this movie, gotta have me Doritos. Which I'm gonna have a couple right now. I've told a friend of mine, my friend that I work with, I told him every time I watch this movie, I've got to have Doritos. It makes me want... It makes me want Doritos. I'm sorry. Completely unedited. Sorry. You're going to have to hear me eat Doritos. Just one more. Okay. So a couple times in this movie, he's eating Doritos. And it just makes me... Have you seen this movie? Yes. I've seen this, I don't know how many times, and this is definitely one of those movies I love to put on like, just listen to while I'm working, because I know it so well, and I love it so much that I can see every scene without actually watching it, I own it, absolutely. I saw it in the theaters when it came out in theaters, in 2004. Would I recommend it? Again, I said yes, especially those people who love Stephen King. Absolutely. I could recommend it to anybody who's been cheated on, because that's like the major theme of this film and why it's a guilty pleasure for me. Again, tons of spoilers, people. Tons of spoilers. If you have not seen this movie, stop watching this review. Stop listening, because I'm going to say things that you really don't want to know ahead of time. You know, the guilty pleasure of being cheated on and getting back at the person who cheated on you. Absolutely. That is why I chose this movie. I love this movie. Okay, I've changed. The book asks, what character do you identify with? I don't necessarily like that question. I would, as an actor, I like the question more, what character would you like to play in this film? What character would I like to be? I could be several characters in this movie, no problem. But I would love to play Mort Rainey. He's not just because he's the main guy, but because he's got so many dimensions, and it would be so fun to play with all of that. And the voiceover and the stuff like that. Best line or memorable quote: "You are alone." Oh, it gives me goosebumps. I'll talk about it. Oh, you are alone. Oh my God, I love it. But there are other, and I will mention another great line, memorable quote. Were you surprised by the ending? Oh, yes. And I love that I was surprised by the ending. I love that I was caught off guard. And when it starts to unravel, I was like, holy shit, wait, what? And I loved that I was surprised. I'm not one of these macho guys that's like, I saw that coming. Oh, I saw that coming. When I was in the theater with my mom and I watched The Others, I think it was Others or The Others with Nicole Kidman, I knew halfway through that she was dead. I knew that they were dead. I mean, The Sixth Sense came out not too long before that, and I was just like, oh, this reeks of they are dead. They are dead and they're trapped in this house, and I get it. So yes, some movies I can feel or sense the twist before it happens. This movie, I am not ashamed to say I was shocked, and I loved that I was shocked. I loved it, and I have a lot of notes to that. Have you read the book? Absolutely, I've read the book, but I didn't read this book until many, many, many viewings. I've seen this movie so many times, and the only story from the book that I had read previously was The Library Policeman. I used to listen to that as a kid on audio. The guy who does it is amazing. And I listened to that a number of times. I loved that story, but I never ever picked up the book and read the other stories in the book. I just thought The Library Policeman was, I was a kid, so I just thought The Library Policeman was its own book. It wasn't. Anyway, yes, I did read it long time ago. I happen to enjoy this interpretation. I think they did a good job of interpreting what is in the story. My brother, unfortunately, does not feel the same way. And I say my brother a lot, and I have a number of brothers, so I'm not going to mention them by name. But yes, one of my brothers does not agree with me. He does not like this film. He likes the story more. And okay, that's fine. I don't happen to agree. I think that the movie did the story justice. Okay, let's get into the notes. No wasted time. Not at all. I love that this opening scene is the two opening scenes. Okay, the first one, the music and the credits, and the second one. No wasted time. We want to get right into it. We only have an hour and 36 minutes. So first scene is, yes, we find out he's been cheated on, and he wasn't expecting it, and he discovered them in bed and in the hotel, and he freaks out about it. Yes, opening scene. We're not wasting any time. Love the music. Is that a cello? Through the opening credits, love the music for this. Okay, and that just it fills me with I don't know, I love it, and it makes me love the movie even more. Second opening scene is, we're not wasting any time. Boom, John Shooter shows up. You stole my story. Okay, no wasted time. I love it. I love a lot of the fun camera movements, especially through the beginning when he comes through the mirror. There are other movements, camera movements that I really like. There was nothing about angles, camera angles that I appreciated or lighting that I was in love with, but definitely camera movement. There's a lot of special effects and camera movements that in this movie did a great job. I think John Turturro is fantastic in this movie. Again, I already said, I love the crazy characters he plays, and this one is definitely another memorable, like, crazy character. I love him in this character. When Shooter first shows up, okay, this is something, okay, as if I were a director, and I'm not a director, and, you know, David Cope did a great job, but, I know, sorry, but, this first time that John Shooter shows up, when Mort is talking to him at the door, his dog Chico goes out and doesn't even acknowledge Shooter, not at all. And I thought that was brilliant. Holy shit! Because spoiler, because we find out later on that John Shooter doesn't even exist. He's just in Mort's mind. He's his alter ego. Okay, so I love the fact that the first time that Chico goes by him, he doesn't even acknowledge him, even though this is a dog and this is a strange person at the house. It's subtle, it's quick, it's subtle, and I thought it was brilliant until Mort says, Chico, come inside, and then he acknowledges that Shooter is there. He kind of sniffs at him real quick and then goes in the house. Fuck! I would have taken that scene. Please edit that out. Take that out, please, because it's so brilliant that Chico does not acknowledge John Shooter when he first walks by him. Please leave that. Leave that. That is gorgeous. But then you have you have him, that Chico acknowledge him at that second before when he says, come in the house. Take that out. Okay, I'm not the director. Moving on. I love that Mort's hair is like constantly a wreck, and his raggedy, like, torn apart robe that he wears. His house is not necessarily a mess until we see at the end. His house is not necessarily a mess because he has a cleaner that comes every week and deals with, but he is a mess, and we get it, and we get why. And and he goes back to the couch to go to sleep, and we get why. He's depressed. He's upset because his wife cheated on him. I love how clueless Mrs. Garvey is. Is it Garvey? It sounds like she says Mrs. Garvey. Garvey, right? Garvey, yeah. It's been a long time since I read this story, so I couldn't remember. Mrs. Garvey. I love how clueless she is, and she's just there to do her job. I love that interaction. I didn't write this story. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm going to say Joan Henney. Fantastic. Fantastic as Mrs. Garvey. You did such a great job. I love it. I had to say your name because you were fantastic. Absolutely love it. I love this constant driving foreshadow. Like, I didn't necessarily know it the first time I watched it, but this is constant, in your face foreshadowing that I didn't know was going to happen. And I think it's fucking brilliant about this story, about the ending, the story, it's so good. It's so, not the ending. Sorry, not the ending. He doesn't talk about the ending yet. We haven't heard about the ending yet. But the opening frickin' line is, he knew where he would bury her in the garden he would bury her in the garden that she loved more than she loved him. That's my next note. So it is absolutely, that's the opening of the story, and it's such a driving force. It's a driving foreshadow. Like, this is the whole essence of the movie. This is why we're watching this movie. This is gonna happen, and I love it. And it's not subtle, but you also don't believe it I didn't know it was a foreshadowing. I didn't when I first watched it. I never thought that that opening line was like, this is the whole essence of the movie. This is what's gonna happen. I never ever never got that. And like I said, I love that I was caught off guard in this movie. At the end, you know. Back to the brilliant Mrs. Garvey. The brilliant Mrs. Garvey. I love the little things in this movie. There are so many little brilliant things in this movie. I wish I could mention them all, but I can't. But I love when she goes, Mrs. Rainey, there's something, Mr. Rainey, there's something I'd like to say. And oh no. Oh no. Oh no. And you're a good man, Mr. Rainey. You too, Mrs. Garvey. That whole interaction is real fun. It's real sweet. It's real cute. She does such a great job at being, her character. I love that he's hiding the cigarette under the desk, but like you can see smoke coming out of his mouth. You can see smoke coming out from under the desk. I mean, there's... Of course she knows you're smoking. Of course you know. And what do you find in the desk when he went to look for the cigarettes? Dorito. Okay. Had to have another one. He opens the desk and there's like Doritos everywhere. And that's the first time you see the Doritos. It's subliminal. It's absolutely subliminal. And they did their job well because I always want Doritos when I watch this movie. The first time Amy gets on the phone, my drink is sedimenting to the bottom. Not part of the video, sorry. But completely unedited. When Amy first gets on when she first calls him and we first are talking to her, this is that love-hate. The love-hate, absolutely. I love to hate her that she is so gorgeous and happy and vibrant and beautiful and in this big beautiful house that we find out that he bought. It's his fucking house and she's just living it up. Why? Because she divorced a famous fucking writer, and I'm sure she's going to get a bunch of money from it, and she's living in this big beautiful house that she probably can't afford because we never even see what she does or if she gets any income, but she's living off of this. Oh, fucking love to hate her. I love to hate her. And that's just when he's on the phone with her and he's like just, he looks like crap. Like I said, his hair, his robe, not necessarily the place, but yes. And she's not. She's completely opposite. Gorgeous and beaming and in this beautiful, big, beautiful house. She's just walking all the way, all around. I love that first time when this is a testament to Johnny Depp's acting. And I don't know if the director said do this or if he did this and it's just brilliant improv. But when he's talking to her on the phone and he grabs the phone and shakes it, like, because he's frustrated. He doesn't want to talk to her. I love it. I love it because I can feel it. I can feel his frustration in that moment. That's something I would totally do, or something that I would feel like doing. Maybe I wouldn't do it. And you also get the suppression. He's not yelling, I don't want to talk to you, and hanging up. I don't want to deal with, but he answers the phone. This suppression, which is important to his character. Absolutely. And it's just, and the frustration, just brilliant. I love that. I love it. When Tom Greenleaf passes by, when he meets Shooter for the second time, and Tom Greenleaf goes by and honks and waves. This is brilliant misdirection. Watch it. Brilliant misdirection. Because Tom waves. We don't know who he's waving at. It doesn't matter. He waves. And he gives a little bit of a smile and he honks or whatever. He honks, gives a little smile, he waves. But what's brilliant is Shooter is the one who acknowledges and waves back. Mort doesn't. So we automatically associate just as viewing. If you let yourself just be the audience and just be and not try to think too much into it, you are led to believe that it feels like Greenleaf is is acknowledging Shooter. And so Shooter is real. Absolutely. Shooter's there. Tom Greenleaf's on. Oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful misdirection. Who wrote it first? Who wrote the story first? I love that struggle. Who wrote the story first? You plagiarized. It adds to the conflict, which is great, and makes us think that this is a real character we're dealing with. Absolutely a real character. I say this so many times in my notes. I feel like this character is real. They did a really good job making me feel like this character is real. Shooter is real. The driving foreshadow. I love that we're talking about, the story. The story is what's important. Oh, I already said that. John, Turturro is so great at such, crazy, weird, offbeat characters, and he does such a great job with this one. Wait, did I tag on something to that note? I didn't. Oh, the odd line. So, I did have another note that I skipped by. You strike me as the kind of guy who's on the lookout for a head he can knock off with a shovel. That is such an odd line. It's such a weird line. But Turturro is so good at playing such odd characters that I didn't find it outside the realm of possibility that this odd character would say something odd like that. Like, why the fuck would you say that? That's just weird. But this character is weird. So, okay, I accept it. But again, that's that foreshadow, the shovel. Absolutely. And not shy about foreshadow, but I also don't think it's foreshadow. It's not until I watch it again that I'm like, holy shit, that's foreshadow. Like, that's gonna happen. I love this movie. This movie's great. Such a neat idea to have him dreaming on the couch, and then he over the ocean, like the couch, he's asleep on the couch, like over the ocean. I love that. That is such a neat, I never would have thought to do that, and it's such a cool idea to have him wake up in the dream and think he's over the ocean and then fall and then hit the ground. Neat. What a neat little idea, and not something I would have thought of. I don't remember if that's in the story. I don't think it was. But such a brilliant idea. Thank you very much, David Cope. Thank you. When Chico, man, I wasn't expecting them to kill. I mean, why would you ever expect them to kill the dog? But, Chico, when Chico dies, that's another, there's no way Mort could have done that. Shooter is real. Shooter is a real threat. And he's fucking crazy. He just killed a dog. Again, I believe this character is real. And the sheriff is a total fucking joke. Until the very, very end, he's just a total fucking joke. I never take him serious. Until the very end where he actually is like, oh shit, something happened. No, he's just a... Ugh. And but the scene is brilliant, It's written brilliant. It's done very, very well. It makes me feel like he's a joke. Which means it was done well. Charles S. Dutton is great in this character. I love it. I love that quick little... Again, there are so many great little things. And here's another one. That little back and forth with the timer. The popping the timer or whatever. It's... Once you finally nail one of your groupies at the Barnes & Noble and he stops the time. Sorry. Rotten profession. And then he starts the time. That quick little... There are so many little things like that make it feel real. And I love it. And it's fun. When Mort goes to the house, because he knows he needs to get the magazine that proves that he wrote the story first. So he goes to the house, but doesn't go to the house. He parks across the street. And he watches Amy come out, and he watches Ted come out. And that internal monologue. By the way, the constant internal monologue is brilliant. It's done so well in this movie. And it's a foreshadow of him talking to himself in The Split. It's so brilliant. And this is another point where I love the internal monologue, where he's just sitting there looking at them come out of the house in the rear view mirror, or the side mirror. And he says, "This is not my beautiful house. This is not my beautiful wife anymore." Oh, and you feel it. Again, just a wonderful testament to Johnny Depp's acting. You feel that depression and that torture of she cheated on him and she's with somebody else and she's in his fucking house. She couldn't have bought that house. He did. Anyway. Okay, so Charles S. Dutton's character, his name is Ken Karsh. Okay, they don't say it prominently enough for you to get that his character's name is Ken Karsh. I don't think you ever see it anywhere. Nobody ever really mentions it. And the two times, I think the one or two times they actually say it, it's so quick. Mort just says it passingly, that's so quick that you would never know, that his name was Ken Karsh. But yes, Charles S. Dutton's character in the movie is Ken Karsh. I love that Karsh leaves the first time. By the way, again, the little things. When he's asleep, we need a jump scare. Come on, this is not a horror, but we need a jump scare. And when Mort shows up and he's like, he looks like he's dead in the car, but he's not. He was asleep, and that jump scare. Okay, that's fun. That's fun. You got to add those little things, and that's cool. But Karsh checks the house. Ken Karsh. He checks the house real quick, and then I love that as soon as he leaves, Shooter shows up. Well, we have that little scene where Mort sees somebody and then goes after them and like kills his shower door, and there's a mouse in there. Okay, we have that little scene there too, and then he goes outside, and then Shooter's there, you know. Of course, Shooter can't show up when Karsh is there because Mort is on his. He has a reason to stay Mort. It's not until Karsh leaves that Shooter can show up. And here we are. We have that confrontation outside, and he says, you sound like you pitched a fit, Finally, we get to the root of the whole point that Shooter is there. He finally says the ending. You need to get the ending right. I don't know what's worse, that you plagiarize my story or that you ruin the ending. So here we are again with this foreshadow, which I didn't pick up on. Here we are again with this beautiful foreshadow, the ending. The ending is what has to happen right. This is the right ending. I'm sure that in time her death will be a mystery even to me, he says at that point. Okay? He's paraphrasing because the line is very different at the very end. But that's, boom, foreshadow, And it's brilliant. It's brilliant. This whole movie is brilliantly foreshadowed, and I don't realize it is. I love that I don't realize it is. Somebody burned down our house. What? when she calls, when he wakes up unexpectedly, turns on the phone, and it rings, and it's her, it's Amy. Somebody burned down our house. What? I was not expecting. I was shocked by that. Whoa. Okay, that's out of left field. Oh, when he first goes to the house. When he first goes to the house and he sees it's all burnt down, and he has that quick memory of the house being there and them being together and her leaving, I guess, for work, it seems, and he's shaving and comes out. I noticed you left $100 on the dresser. Clearly the escort service told you I was 3. You know, some guys are less than that if you want that kind of thing. Some guys are, 100 or 200 or 100, or some guys are even less than that. You know, I have never, ever been attracted to Johnny Depp. But that playfulness, that improv / playfulness is so attractive. It's so like, I would love to be with somebody who plays that way, that has fun with, just be fun in a relationship. I love that. I'm sure the escort service told you I was 3. Maybe that comes from, being with a writer or being with somebody who's creative. Maybe, people who are not creative aren't fun. Like, I don't know. But I loved that little playfulness was really cool about his character. So then we get to, obviously the house burnt down, and then we have to go to the insurance adjuster. It's so unfortunate. Even at the house when it's all burnt down, Timothy Hutton's character, Ted, in my opinion, it's such a throwaway character. There's nothing to it. You don't have to do anything. You just have to show up and say your lines. You don't have to do anything. There's nothing for you to do. Which is a little sad. But Timothy Hutton really makes something of this character. He really adds a personal touch. Timothy Hutton's great. I've seen him in a handful of things. I'm not, like I said, I wouldn't go see something, just because of Timothy Hutton, but he adds something to every character I've seen him do. There are certain actors that are just, they add something to the character that they do because, what do they always say? There are no small parts. Yes, absolutely. And this is a testament to that saying. There are no small parts. This Ted character is such a throwaway character, but Timothy Hutton makes something of it because he's a good actor. He's a very good actor. Oh, heck, Ted, live a little, make it 2. Rubbernecker. Rubberneck? I'm not going to freak. Do you really intend to rubberneck? I'm not going to freak out about this. I mean, this is our stuff. I love that. I love that scene. That scene is great. It makes me laugh. This is the stuff I bought. This is my fucking house. I spent the money on this house. I, bought all this stuff, and you're going to act like you have a right to look at what's in the house. Oh my God. I love that part. And it's finally a point, maybe not as much as we want to see or hear, but it's finally more sticking up for himself a little bit. And I like that. Because part of his problem is suppression. Suppressing all his feelings and his angst and his, anyway, I love that. And I put this note. This background actor is brilliant. Oh my God. And I don't think he's just a normal background actor. I have a funny feeling that he's a SAG he's a union background actor. So for those of you who don't know, there are two types of background actors. There are background actors who are not part of the union, who are not part of SAG, who just basically show up. You're in the background. You never really see them much. No big deal. Or like before I became union, you see me a couple of times in a couple of things I did, like the whole beginning of CSI New York, the episode I did. You see me everywhere in the entire beginning before the credits, but I'm not featured. I don't say anything. And then there's a union background actor, a SAG background actor, which now that I'm part of SAG, I would be if I did background right now, where they are featured or they have a line. You can have up to, I think, 3 lines. 3. I think you can have up to 3 lines before they have to make you a player and not a background person. So this background actor in the elevator when Mort and Amy are leaving is fucking brilliant. And I don't know if it was David Cope who said, "This is what I want you to do," and he did it brilliantly, or if this background actor just did it and it's brilliant. But just his attitude, the music, the attitude where he's just leaning, he's got total attitude, and the glasses, he's just got total attitude. And then when the doors open, he scoots by them. I fucking love him. I don't know who you are, but I fucking love you. You're brilliant. I love that scene because of him. Because of him. That scene is brilliant. Love it. Okay, moving on. Where are we at? 41 minutes. How many pages do I have? Like 20? I have 20 more pages. No, I'm joking. Okay, moving on. Shooter. Shooter's Bay. Excuse me. Ted is from Shooter's Bay. But I don't ever, not once, and I think I put this note several times, I don't ever, not once, believe that Ted is actually responsible. I don't ever believe that Ted hired Shooter. It just doesn't feel like that kind of movie for whatever reason. Do I believe Shooter is real? Absolutely. But I don't ever believe that Shooter was hired by Ted. No. It never makes me feel that way. Oh, when Mort is supposed to meet Ken, and Ted at the breakfast place, or Greenleaf. Who's Greenleaf? Is it Tom? Tom, not Ted. Tom Greenleaf, and he's supposed to meet Ken Kirsch and Tom Greenleaf at the breakfast place. I love the misdirection of Mort waking up. That again, great camera work with the out of focus skylight, and then it comes into focus really good, and then he wakes up at like 10:15 or something like that, and then he like, whoa, oh shit, I'm late. I love that misdirection, but then I'm also like, what the fuck is going on with the hat on the porch, and the car is open and running, and the Pall Mall cigarette butt in the ashtray. I'm like, what is going on? What happened? What did he do? What's going? Now there's this real intrigue. Like there's something more going on, but I don't know. I don't know what happened. Oh, and then Mort meets Ted at the gas station. A lot of what's going on is my fault. And then he says, I buried my dog, mister. I know that they're trying to guide you to believe that that Ted hired Shooter. But for whatever reason, like I said, I don't believe it. It's not that kind of I don't get that from this character. This character is such a blah. There's nothing to this character. We're not focused on Ted in any way, so I can't believe that Ted's doing this. I think that's the problem. We've never really focused on Ted, so I don't feel like Ted could be the guy, could have hired him. Okay. Okay, so what's up with the hat on the porch? What's up with the running car? And then here we found, holy shit, we find out Tom Greenleaf and Ken Karsh are dead. Were murdered in the holy shit. Now this definitely ups the stakes. And I'm like, okay, since Shooter called him and told him where to find, oh shit, Shooter killed these guys? Shooter's crazier than I thought. Again, I believe Shooter is real. They've done a really good job of making me believe it. And so I'm like, holy shit. What happens after he passes out? Oh, your leg fell asleep. You're, I was going to wake you, but you scare too easy. I believe that he is real. This whole interaction between him and them and anybody else you call between now and then, this is our business, not anybody else's. Get that story and show me. And then he says, well, if things end up that way, then maybe I really am crazy. And that kind of crazy has no excuse to live. I believe this character is real. He's saying I guess I'm crazy. If you really did write that story before me, then I must be crazy. I believe this character is real. Yes, absolutely. And I love that I get fooled. When Mort... So he tells him to get, to clean up here, get rid of the bodies. When Mort dumps the truck into the... First of all, how many movies do they do this in? The truck goes into the swamp, or the truck goes over a levee into the... How many places have these that people are just dumping trucks into? And why isn't that the first place that the police check? Anyway, when Mort dumps the bodies and he gets his watch caught and then it breaks off, why? Why did we make that important, David Cope? Why did you make that important to show that, to make that prominent? And then it never leads to anything. It's never important. You could have done more with your time than do that. Again, why? Do you think things might have been different if we hadn't lost the baby? Amy calls and she's distraught. At first, she's distraught. Again, what does this add? Is this just... We're trying to throw out an early point of dysfunction, an early point of a traumatic event that could have started the fracture in Mort's brain. Again, so many spoilers, please. Okay, so did they put this line in here because it's such a throwaway, quick little line and it doesn't come to any fruition whatsoever? But are we putting this line about losing a baby? So they were pregnant and she must have miscarried, I'm assuming. Do you think things would have been different if we hadn't lost the baby? Maybe that's when Mort's mind started to fracture. It gets worse and worse over time, and then obviously the affair, her cheating on him, boom. That's the whole point of the movie. But I wonder if they threw this line in there to show that, it had started much earlier. I don't know. Because that line doesn't go anywhere. Okay. No, I guess you shouldn't have fucked him then. Oh my God, yes. I love it when he... I wish I could take it back, but I can't. Well, I guess you shouldn't have fucked him then. And he's, yes. That's the first time I'm like, yes, Mort, yes. Finally stick up for yourself. Do something, and the little, that he does, it's so brilliant. It's so wonderful. You finally, when you watch it the second time, you're, oh my, he's so fucked. He's so fucked. And you love it because now you know what the ending is, when you watch it the second time or the, 100th time. I love it. That is such a great part when he's finally expressing himself, when he's finally letting it out instead of suppressing it, which is what he's done for too long. And why he's broken is because he's suppressed all that frustration and all that anger and distraught and depression. But I love that when he finally sticks up for himself. When he goes to the post office, you're very pale. Yeah, thank you. Again, it's the little things. Like when he shows up at the Bowie store earlier and he puts the hat on the counter and the guy looks at him and he puts the hat on the seat. It's all the little things. Or when he goes to the Bowie store and he goes to the wrong door and it doesn't open and then he kind of goes to the other door and comes in. It's all these little things that they did throughout the movie that just make it feel real. David Cope did such a great job with making it feel real, and all those little things are great. And Johnny Depp does such a great job with all those little things. Oh, the UPS envelope is already open. Okay, here's where we... Here's where the director finally says, we're going to start showing you what the fuck is really going on. And because I have been so fooled throughout this whole film, and again, I love that I'm fooled by this film. Because I'm so fooled, I'm like, at this point, I'm like, wait, what? The envelope is already open? Wait, what? He pulls the book out and the pages are cut out? How? I feel like him. Like, wait, what the fuck is going... Wait, what? Did I miss something? I didn't miss something. What's going on? I love it. Because it got me. And then when he gets in the house and the voiceover conversation with himself, oh my God. Then I start feeling little chills up my spine, and I'm like, whoa, wait, what? This whole part, and I have a ton of notes, but they're really quick. This whole part, when he gets back in the house and he starts having the conversation with himself, is brilliant. Again, with the mirror. I love the going through the mirror and seeing the mirror. And I love him talking to him. And finally, he shows up in front of him. The special effects, to Johnny Depp's, conversation. So it's no longer in his head. We are now, like, in reality, he's talking to himself. And the music is driving it. Wonderful. The music is driving it and make us feel like, whoa, something's off kilter. And I'm freaking out, and I'm finally putting it together. Holy shit. And he doesn't have bruises on his arm like he says he had from John Shooter. And I'm like, holy shit, wait, what? And now I'm starting to get it. I get it. This is how it happens, he says. This is how it happens to people. And I'm starting to go, oh shit, he's crazy. John Shooter's not real. He's not alive. And then my favorite line when he says, leave me alone. And he throws the thing and he says, you are alone. And the chills, even to this day, watching it, the goosebumps from that line. Oh, you are alone. Leave me alone. When he yells, leave me alone, and he throws the thing and you are alone. Oh. And then the crack of the wall, just, whoa. It got me, and I love that it got me. It was so brilliant. And I love to let myself feel that every single time I watch it. Even though I've seen it 100 times or more, probably more. I love to let myself be gotten again. Oh, I love it. Yes. He's crazy as fuck. And I love it. And again, that mirror, when he sees the back of his head. They did that in Dolores Claiborne too, the back of the head thing. She was like, way off, like, whoa, what's going on? I love that shot in Dolores Claiborne, which was in the 90s, and this here is 2004, and here we do it again. The looking at him, the back of his head, but then it also moves with him. It's so great, so great. And here goes to fix the ending. Fix the ending. Fix the ending. Yes. When Amy shows up. When Amy shows up, after we've already revealed all this, I love that we finally see his cabin for what it really is. It's a fucking shambles. And I love the realization that he doesn't see any of that. He doesn't see that he has been drinking. Again, I'm assuming that he's a recovering alcoholic because of the way they talk about his drinking. And then he doesn't see his drinking. He's constantly, drinking Mountain Dew. Is that what he's drinking through the movie? But it's Jack Daniels. And here, when Amy shows up, we finally see that he's drinking Jack Daniels, that the place is a fucking mess. Torn up. Now, my thought is Mrs. Garvey real? Does she actually show up? I guess there's time between when she showed up last and now to where the place can be a shambles. So maybe Mrs. Garvey is real. I mean, there's nothing to suggest that she's not real. Just that the place is a fucking mess. And the shooter everywhere. Shoot her. I knew it was coming, and I loved it when it happened. When he moves the door and it's shoot her. I knew it was, by this point I knew it was coming, and I loved when it happens. And I love it the whole end. He's shooter. He is not Mort Rainey, because Mort Rainey would not be able to do what comes. He would not have been able to do it as Mort Rainey. He had to do it as John Shooter. And I bring this up because what Stephen King talks about, the reason why he wrote his Bachman, one of the reasons why, there's a whole reason, I'm not going to go into it, but one of the reasons why he wrote his Bachman, and he says, I wrote his Richard Bachman because Richard Bachman will go to places that I won't even go to as Stephen King. And there is a depth and a darkness to some of Richard Bachman's stories. Thinner, The Long Walk, which I fucking love it. I'm sorry, if people think The Hunger Games was original, it was not. Richard Bachman's The Long Walk. Read it. The Hunger Games was not original. Okay, off my soapbox. I love Richard Bachman's stories, and yes, sometimes they do go to dark places that Stephen King, I don't necessarily see Stephen King go, and so I understand that when you watch the end of this movie and Mort is no longer there, it's Shooter. It reminds me of the fact that Richard Bachman can go to places that Stephen King couldn't. Anyway, I'm not suggesting that Richard Bachman or Stephen King would ever murder anyone. And I'm also not suggesting that I would ever murder anyone, as much as I love this movie. I did not expect him to get her. I'm expecting this is going to be a typical Hollywood thriller / horror movie. And the bad guy is going to get thwarted somehow, and he's going to get killed, or who knows what. But I was not expecting, especially the first time I watched it, I was not expecting him to get her. Again, I am not suggesting I would ever kill or even think about killing any of my exes who cheated on me, which most of them did. Never in my life. But It is such catharsis. It is such a guilty pleasure to watch it happen in this movie. This is why I love this movie, and I could watch it over and over and over because of this. Yes. When he gets her, I was not expecting it, and she's down. But then when Ted comes and he just smashes him in the face with the shovel, yes! And if Timothy Hutton did it, fucking brilliant. If he didn't, the stunt actor that does it makes it look real. Makes it look brilliant and real. The way he flinches and falls, and oh my God, wonderful. And then he gets him, and then he goes back and gets her. This is why I love this movie. Fucking cheaters justice. Get him. Fuck those cheating shits. Yes. I've been cheated on plenty of times in my life. This makes it all worth it. The music is fantastic. You know, this is, again, I've said it multiple times before. This is not a soundtrack that I could just listen to. Because it doesn't have that kind of feel or momentum or flow, but it fits the movie perfectly. Such a great job with the music. Such a great job. After he kills them, he has a completely different character. He's taking care of himself. He moves around a little different. He's interacting with people different. I love it. It's such a shift in the character. When the sheriff comes to visit. When Amy shows up and she's walking around the house and all those, like, literally etched in wood, in the desk, in the drapes, in the wood of the walls is like literally etched with like some sharp instrument shooter everywhere, like scratched in it. So when the sheriff comes at the end and walks through the house, why do we not see any of that? Why don't we? Why is all that just missing? Okay, I guess we can posit that, you know, Mort is very rich, and so he probably just had somebody come and like fix all that shit, and re-stain and blah 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 blah. Okay, fine, but I just find it so like, oh, okay, that was all like literally scratched into the surfaces everywhere, including the walls, and now it's all gone. Okay, we don't know how much time was between those two moments, so I guess he could have had somebody come fix all that. The only thing that matters is the ending, and this one is perfect. Not only is it perfect what he's writing, apparently, but it's also perfect. This movie ends perfectly. And the last note I have is the actual line, because I love it. I fucking love it. The actual line, yes, we've said parts of it throughout the entire film, but here at the end, we get the full and complete line, and I don't want to fuck it up. I know I can do it, Todd Downey said. Okay, I did fuck it up. I know I can do it, Todd Downey said, helping himself to another ear of corn from the steaming bowl. I'm sure that in time, every bit of her will be gone, and her death will be a mystery even to me. Love it! You know what? I would have to pick up the book again and read it to know if that line is exactly the way it is in the book. I don't know, but it is brilliant in the movie, and it is brilliant to end the movie on that line. And, you know, Johnny Depp, you know, biting into the corn. Wonderful, brilliant movie. I think it's fantastic. I cannot rate it a 5, but you know what? Every movie that I love cannot be a 5 out of 5. It just can't. You know, technically, I have to acknowledge the fact that it can't be a 5 film, but I rate this a 4, which is probably higher than most people, because on IMDb it's at a 6.5 general, average, 6.5 out of 207,000 1,000 people have voted it, but I voted it an 8 because they have a 10 scale instead of a 5 scale. Anyway, that is Secret Window. I had to do one because I love this movie, 1, and 2 because I finally just got this fantastic signed autograph picture of Darkness signed by Tim Curry, and I had to do the big reveal because I literally just got it back from the framing people. So Secret Window, if you haven't seen it, why did you listen to this review? Because I fucked it all up. But thank you for listening, and I will get you another video soon. I promise.